2 or 3 years in this business, I feel like I have some of my experiences that I could share. Because when I started out, a lot of the questions that I have answered today were not answered for me. When it came to skincare, especially, and production of skincare, I didn't have the kind of guidance that I would have appreciated back then. So I feel even though you have somebody to just answer your questions or just to have a conversation with, it's enough. So even if I can do that for people who are starting out today, why not?
Hey everyone, welcome to Maharani Talks, and this is Mahati. So I was Googling the top organic skincare brands in India, and Ilana Organics featured in almost most of the results. While Ilana has made a name in a span of 2 years, what I loved the most was its co-founder Nikita Deshpande documenting her process as an entrepreneur and offering guidance on what it takes to build a skincare brand on social media through her channel Nika Inc. In an age where most don't easily divulge their secrets to building a brand, Nikita hopes to connect with other entrepreneurs through what she has learned. So let's hear her out. Hi, Nikita. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here.
It's totally my pleasure. I want to know, why did you feel the need to create a new skincare brand?
In the current skincare crowded industry, you mean?
Yeah, its skincare industry is quite crowded, and now there's more awareness for organic products, and there's quite a lot of natural brands as well. But what made you take the dive?
So I think I was on a journey of finding a skincare in a bottle which told me what went inside the bottle. So when I read the ingredient list on that bottle, I wanted to know for sure what went inside it. And that unfortunately didn't happen with me whenever I read the ingredient list for any kind of product that was out there. Either there were such complex chemical names that I was unable to understand, or the ingredients were just not mentioned in a proper way for the consumer to read them properly and understand them properly. So that was the need. Either the skincare wasn't accessible to me, the kind of skincare I was looking for, or either it wasn't affordable in some way. So I thought it's necessary for consumers to really understand what goes inside their bottle, be aware of every ingredient, understand each and every ingredient that is in their skincare bottle. Because we always talk about adulteration that goes into food, but we never talk about adulteration in skincare and the things we apply on our skin. So there was, like, to give you like a background, there was this little workshop that was happening while I was in college, and it really was an eye opener for me, where there was this complex assortment of chemical names on the ingredients list which I couldn't understand. And that was why I wanted to, go out and do this. It really began as a college assignment, really. So I didn't set out in the world saying that, okay, hey, let me create a skincare label and let me develop a skincare brand. It was really a college assignment. That's how it started in the beginning.
Okay.
And I guess I'm not inclined towards skincare was always sort of my inclination. So I thought, why not? Like, skincare was a channel to really voice the feelings and create awareness, open these conversations, because I wanted these conversations to be more than just dinner table and coffee table conversations.
Right.
So I wanted to create that change and have people question things around them. So I guess that was why I started the brand.
But the beauty market is extremely competitive. Did you ever feel daunted by it?
So like I said, I wasn't like sitting one day and thinking to myself, oh, it's a competitive space and what do I do about it? But when I entered the market, that's when I realized, okay, there's a lot of competition out there. But honestly, I never look at competition in a negative way. Like, that's something I have always noticed, that I don't look at competition in a negative way, in the sense that I know what I'm here for. I know what is it that I'm uniquely offering. I am not really, doing the same thing as anybody else in the market is doing. I mean, there are a few brands who are doing similar things that we are, who have a similar vision as us. But I think there's still a value that we add to the market that I don't think anybody right now is adding. So
Okay.
being genuine, being transparent, being authentic, as me as the founder, being the face of the brand, going out there, talking to customers, taking the time out to really get to know the customers. I think that's the authenticity that we add, and hence I don't feel very daunted by the competition.
That's a nice attitude.
Yeah.
So, what was the first step that you took? You decided, okay, I'm going to do this.
So it happened in when I was in college, and a few of my friends and family, they said that why don't you put this out there? So it started at literally a restaurant in my city where there was like this little souk kind of a thing happening, like a flea, not a
Okay.
flea market, but like a little exhibition kind of a thing was happening. So I just put together the packaging, the branding, the products in 1 week. The
Oh,
first time I sold my products, I literally whipped the batches in my kitchen, did a little testing because my dad has a pharma background. So I did a little testing in my kitchen itself, making sure that the products were safe and bacteria free. And that was how I started literally. So I started in a souk, and with that, my first experience for selling these products was so overwhelming. Within just 2 hours of time, we had sold like 25 grand worth of stuff, and that was like a real encouragement that I'm doing something that is that there's a need for in the market. I really have an audience
right.
which could target, and that's where it all started. That was my first step, literally.
Okay. And how did you know which ingredients to use? Did you do like how much research went into it?
Yes. So initially, I would say when I was starting out, I didn't have any kind of knowledge when it came to skincare. But eventually, I understood the complexity of things. That's why initially it was, if you look at the evolve, how the recipes and how the ingredients and how the products have evolved, they have literally went from 2 to 3 ingredient blends to like 20, 25 high performance ingredient blends. So I have really put myself through a process where I have made sure that I've learned the formulations. And now we have a team of people. We have a pharmacist on board. We have a formulator on board who help me formulate these things, along with where we manufacture at Satara in our factory place. So now that's why the things keep on getting more complex, because I have those expertise for the past 1.5 year. Since the time the recipe started getting a little complex, I've had a team of people who helped me formulate these recipes for me. But initially, when it was me, and I was consulting a dermatologist as to how to go about it, it was really simplistic blends, like combining a carrier oil with an essential oil. It was that simple in the
Okay.
beginning. Yeah.
Okay. And what about the initial trials? How did that go? Did you test it on a certain audience?
Yeah. So it was a community of friends and family, and I did around say 12 months of just going out there and testing the market, exhibiting it in front of people, seeing how they're reacting to the products, getting customer feedback, and then going back and improvising on the products. So initially there wasn't, I didn't have the kind of funds that went into lab testing initially.
Right.
So I really had to just hear back from my customers, hear back from my friends and family what they thought about it. But I made it a systematic process. I made sure that this was skincare, so there wasn't any risk taking, that I could have done, or I couldn't play around with the quality of the product. That was very important. And since my dad had the background of pharma, he told me that this is
Yeah.
something that you need to be really careful of. So initially it was just trying it and hearing back from your family, getting feedback from your friends, and getting feedback from the customers who I sold to in these markets.
Were there hiccups during those days?
Not very much, I would say. Like since the beginning, in fact, the first whole year we sold the products, it was mostly just positive feedback that I received, and that's what was so encouraging to me, because I feel like I'm a very critical person. I'm very sort of like to build a confidence in a space which is that new to me. It takes time, and of course, when so many people's lives are at stake and their skin is at stake, it's not an easy decision to make. So initially it was all good feedback that we used to get from the customers, and that's what encouraged me into getting more
Okay.
and more into this business. Yeah.
So how did you decide on the name Ilana?
So it was again like I come from a design background, so I have all of these tools like mind mapping, brainstorming very handy with me. So it was just
Okay.
another brainstorming session where I was sitting with a thesaurus and I wanted a name that resonated with the vision, which was sustainability. I didn't want just a name for the namesake, but I wanted something that means eternally and is connected to the environment. So Ilana means like a tree. So anything that is like a tree, that grows like a tree, that is like a tree by nature. So we really feel like I personally am very close to plants in general. My mom is a gardener. We
Okay.
also encourage urban gardening, terrace gardening as a part of Ilana's vision. And I resonated with the name a lot. So I guess that's how it stuck through.
You're a student of Srishti School of Design.
Yeah, yeah,
For a skincare product to stand out, design plays a very important role.
it does. Yeah.
So, yeah. So, what did you keep in mind when you started designing? I'm guessing you did the design all by yourself.
Yes, I did. So I had help from my mentor, who was my dean at Srishti. So me and her together, we actually designed the entire packaging and the brand positioning of the brand. She's still involved with the brand to a certain extent, where we, how to take the brand positioning forward, how to take the branding forward is what we still do together. But initially, like in the extremely initial stage, when I said that I put the brand together in a week's time, that was when I
Right.
literally pulled out some references off of Pinterest. I had a certain vision as to how I wanted the brand to look like. From there, I took help from a friend of mine who was a graphic designer. So she helped me design the packaging for a little period of time. We used that packaging for 6 to 8 months. But from there, that is the time when around we started getting an idea as to what we want to be. The brand really came together in, I guess, summer 2018 is when the brand came together. In August 2018, we launched the website. Before that, it was more time that went into understanding what was happening with the products, what was going in the market, what was happening with my audience. So that whole 1.5 year while I was still in college was the time that I took to really seep everything inside me. And 2018 summer is when we rebranded the entire range. We introduced a new product range. That is when I had the team of experts with me, where we took the time to really formulate a new set of products which we were sure of that would work in the market. There was a lot of market research that went then. So there was a brief period of 1.5 year before we rebranded and we got everything together, and when we started actually selling on August 10th is when we launched our website in 2018. So before that,
Okay.
1.5 year went into research and development and understanding the audience and bringing everything together. Just me understanding what I wanted from the brand in general.
Okay. And could I ask your co-founder, Amit Patel, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What was his role?
He's been a very dear friend of mine since we were kids. And initially, he used to come and help me as a friend in the markets that I used to do. And slowly, he developed an inclination towards the brand. And he onboarded as a co founder in January 2019. So, 6 months after we rebranded and started selling. But like we didn't notice, but he was always a part of the process since the beginning. And then
Okay.
he realized that he wanted to be a part of Ilana full time, and that's when he onboarded as a co-founder. So his main role, he comes from a commerce background. So his main role in Ilana is basically handling the management and the operations. He has an extremely keen eye towards customer service and how the logistical part of it should be, what a customer should feel like, what the experience of the entire ordering process of a customer should be. So even though it's a digital service that we are offering, the physical experience of a customer receiving the product is very important. And those are the things that he's inclined towards. And that is the value that he adds to the company.
Okay. You know, entrepreneurship can be a very lonely journey.
It can be, yeah.
You must have had days of self doubt, and yeah, how did you deal with such days?
So great thing you mentioned, Amit, because he's been a support system throughout, like I cannot imagine doing this all by myself, because
Yeah.
every time when you're going about this journey, there are some skill sets that you have, and then there are some, I wouldn't say things that you lack, but there are some things that you're not that good at, or maybe those are your weak
Right.
points and vulnerabilities. So when you have a person with a different kind of skill sets, who's coming from a different perspective and who's contradicting your skill sets, I think that is where a teamwork starts happening. That is where a team comes together, and that is where you sort of complement and contradict each other's skill sets, and you build something together. So to answer your question, yes, I've had many days of self-doubt, insecurities,
Yeah.
vulnerabilities, breakdowns. It's been a part of the journey. But I guess there's a structure for dealing with everything. The days I feel like I'm going to lose it, I just go back. I just see what all I've achieved, look at the good things that are happening in the business, and really try to take the criticism in a constructive way. I also think that my age helps me do that, because I often come across people who are elder to me in the business industry, and they often tend to give me a lot of advice looking at my age and seeing that she's a young entrepreneur. So instead of taking that negatively, I often do take that criticism and do take that feedback positively, because I feel like I'm not even 10% done on the journey, not even 10%. So I feel there's a long way to go, and I have a lot of things to learn. And I look at all of these things as opportunities. So I don't really look at them as, like I said, the competition in the market. I look at them as
Right.
opportunities to connect with new people, to learn from them, to share my experiences with them. That's why I even started this new channel of mine called Nika Inc., where I want to spread my entrepreneurial journey with other young budding entrepreneurs. I want to have that conversation with them.
Yeah. Now that you brought it up, in fact, when I reached out to you a couple of weeks back,
Yeah,
besides because of Ilana, one of the main things I liked also was that you were documenting your process.
yeah. Somebody told me, because it's very important to document your process, and if you don't do it today, you're never going to be able to do that later. And 2 years later in this journey, I really look back, and sometimes I miss out on phases, like some 3-4 months I just don't remember, and somebody reminds them to me, and I'm like, oh my god, even that was a time that we lived through. So that really struck me, and I'm like, no, I want to document every phase of mine as an entrepreneur right now, because it's a very exciting journey, and I guess it's even exciting for others to look at it, maybe.
Yeah, it is. And but were you conscious to document it? Because a lot of people, you might think, okay, I'm a newbie in this field. Why would anyone want to hear my side of the story? So did that stop you from thinking about putting it out there?
Not really. See, it was another thing if I did this on the first day I started. But 2 years in this business, 2 or 3 years in this business, I feel like I have some of my experiences that I could share, some of my knowledge that I could share. Because when I started out, a lot of the questions that I have answered today were not answered for me. I didn't have guidance,
Okay.
or I didn't have any mentorship, especially in the skincare category. In terms of business, I had my father, I had a lot of other people who I could go and communicate with. But when it came to skincare, especially, and production of skincare formulations and skincare products, I didn't have the kind of guidance that I would have appreciated back then. So I feel even though you have somebody to just answer your questions, or just to have a
Yeah.
conversation with, it's enough. So even if I can do that for people who are starting out today, why not? I'm not saying that I'm an expert here, or you have to listen to me and my opinion is the last opinion. But I just want to create that kind of communication with people out there, so that they benefit from me, I benefit from them in some way.
Yeah, I agree. Just putting your voice out there makes a big difference, even if it is to one person or many
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
And that also sort of makes my position more validated and more genuine, because people start to get to know me as a person.
I agree.
um, when I talk about ingredients, the way I passionately talk about my ingredients is very, very important. Like, we as a skincare brand, we never thought that people would love the whole DIY series that we put out during this lockdown, that they'll enjoy that series, because most of the times we thought that people just want ready bottles, they just want to buy it, use it, and just be okay with it. We never knew that people would be so excited in knowing ingredients and what ingredients do to your skin. And I think that's also a part of educating consumers who are so interested in their health and fitness and skincare in their beauty regimes. So just me talking about the ingredients so passionately also incline people towards Ilana Organics, and they feel like there's actually a lot of thought and an effort going behind formulating these products, and it's not just something that we put together in one night and is been sold in the market. So even these little things count, and that's why I feel me being out there as a voice for Ilana is a very important part of the whole framework.
Okay, that's true. I want to go back to once, your first set of people that you were trying it on, you were your friends or extended family.
Mhm.
After that step, how did you start marketing your product?
So initially, how I learned about marketing is through having visibility in most of the places. I knew for one is skincare needed a word of mouth, because since there are so many alternatives available, it's
Yeah.
not going to be like somebody just looks at Alana Organics and they just pick it up. Somebody somewhere has to recommend it, and thus they happen to sort of then invest in the brand. So that's how it really went. That's how I really went ahead. But to be honest, in the first 6 months, I didn't have very many high goals or high expectations from the business. I literally was one foot in and one foot outside. I was like, okay, maybe this is not working, I'm going to get out. I was so like sort of, like not, I won't say confident, but not very sure of where the whole thing is going on. So the whole marketing aspect wasn't that concentrated on in the first few months of the business. It happened very, very organically. Initially, our main channels was to basically, my main goal initially was to increase visibility. So all we were trying to be is on Amazon, Flipkart, on other beauty websites, like there's Myntra or there's Nykaa. So we were really trying to be on these websites, because we felt that getting a customer to your sole website and asking them to buy off your website might be a long shot. So why not start from getting yourselves visible on a few websites out there. So my first few months just looked that I was just cold emailing people from various shops or beauty boutiques
Okay.
that were there across India. Just cold emailing them, cold calling them, and asking them whether they were interested to house our brand in their shops. That's how it went ahead. And initially, it was a lot. I would say that initially the ratio was about 40% B2C and 60% B2B. So a lot of the orders were coming from other websites like Amazon, Flipkart, till our website really
Okay.
picked up. 6 months in is when we started focusing on Facebook ads and Instagram ads. And that is where we started getting almost 80 to 85% of the orders on our website. And from there, we're here in the second year now. We'll be finishing second year. We'll be completing 2 years in August 2020.
When they said they won't stock your brand, did you feel rejected?
Yeah, in fact, the first shop I went to, it's a cafe in Pune only. It's a cafe in Korega Park, and I literally had made a pitch. I had printed it on paper and I physically presented it to them. And the first meeting that we did with a retailer, we were turned down because they felt that we were very new in the space and we didn't have our things sorted. So it did feel a little like heartbreaking and this thing, but I think again I took that positively, and it never stuck because that phase never really lasted. We got a lot of responses, a lot of positive responses later on, because since the beginning itself, I feel like our brand story was so strong on its end that people really understood what we were trying to add to the market, and that's why we sort of made it little easily in the beauty industry than any other brand, I would say. Like, even when I look back and think about it, I feel like we were able to make into the kind of league brands that we have in the country right now, like brands on our level right now. We were able to make it into that league very fast. Is what I personally feel. I mean, I didn't expect Ilana to grow this so big this soon. I thought it would be 3 or 4 years in is when we would be at this level. But yeah, even in terms of numbers, in terms of audience, everything.
Right. Yes. Do you think having a compelling backstory helps?
Very much, yeah. Definitely. When people can resonate with your passion, when people really resonate with your vision, your values, there's nothing that can stop them from investing in your brand and buying what you are selling to them. It's very essential. It's a key to have a compelling story, and it's really a key to have a purpose behind what you're doing. We're not living in an era where you could just take a sort of distributorship from any brand and just go and sell it on. But starting something of your own, and no offense to anybody who's doing that, but starting something of your own and really telling people as to how you strongly feel about all of those things makes them sort of even feel the same way about the things you feel. Yeah, if I was able to put it right.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Did you go the social media influencer route eventually when this brand started picking up more visibility?
Initially, I would say considerably, yes, we did go that route, but soon enough we understood that the kind of importance a founder-centric video was adding to the brand was very different than an influencer video maybe that was adding to the brand. So since the beginning only, we haven't concentrated so much on the influencer route. There have been a few times where we have done PR campaigns, PR gifting, but that's been about it. Like, we don't heavily focus on the influencer strategy. We haven't even in the past. Yeah.
Okay. In the past 2 years, what do you think has been your most vulnerable moment?
That's hard to remember.
Or the most important lesson you learned?
I think I've really learned to be patient. There have been times where I have not been, I'm not a very patient person, like genetically, but there have been times where my patience have really caused me to take the wrong decisions that have affected the company in a way, and have cost us money in the end. So I think that is by far the most important lesson that I've learned. And I think also being able to adjust with a co-founder in a company is something that I've learned very well, I feel. Having Because many very people who are starting out in the industry, who are new budding entrepreneurs, often have a founder syndrome in a company. They want to do everything by themselves. They don't want to delegate, and that just ends up burning themselves in a way that they can't even imagine.
Yeah.
They think that they are good at everything and they want to do everything. But learning to delegate, learning to trust other people with your vision, with your venture is, I think, the hardest thing that I have had able to do. But it has also taught me very many things at the same time.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it my most vulnerable moment though, but that I would say was the hardest thing to do, delegating work and developing a team around yourself who you can trust and rely on them for your growth.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah. But once you are able to cross that patch and once you're able to delegate, there's nothing like it. Literally, you're the happiest person once you're able to delegate.
Did you have like an entrepreneur in your circle or someone, even in the popular media that you looked up to who, you had all this great, who inspired you to go the right way? Because you could, like you said, be making wrong decisions at every point. Like delegating is so important, but very young entrepreneurs make the mistake of doing it all by themselves because they want it to be perfect.
Correct. Yeah.
So I would ask, who has been your inspiration in entrepreneurship?
So I didn't have any particular person um, to look at, but I have just been so critical about my journey, and in a way been very afraid about how things are going. That I was so afraid of growing too fast and not growing sustainably and burning ourselves out, that I made sure that we grew slow, that we didn't rush into things. um, so it was really about understanding what mistakes do people often make, and really making sure as to not doing that. So yeah, and in terms of inspiration, I will say it has been no doubt my father, because he has been the source of even funding the business since the beginning. So it always felt like I was using his money, and I sort of owed it to him until the time things were materialized and things were starting to show success. So till then, it felt like a pressure that I had to sort of prove it to him, or he should feel confident in investing in me and my business. So, but yeah, I think as an entrepreneur, he has always been an inspiration, and there are a lot of traits that I've
Okay.
taken from him as well, in terms of how I just deal with my finances, or how I look at a situation in terms of positive and negative traits of it and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what next for Ilana? Are you planning to bring out a makeup range or?
Yeah, so we actually last December very spontaneously launched two makeup products, which is a cream concealer foundation and a beat tint, which is like a facial face tint basically. And we got an overwhelming response for natural makeup, because I think it's not a very touched upon category in India, natural makeup. So we definitely want to venture more into that category, not getting into the whole lipsticks and eye palettes and all of that, but just having
Okay.
basic options to just do your day makeup, like an everyday makeup look, definitely. And in terms of what's next for Ilana, I would say it's about really sort of making Ilana a household name in a country like India, where there are so many brands people have to choose from. Um, we also plan to go international, but not very soon, like maybe in the coming, say, 1.5 2 years, we plan to go international.
Okay.
Right now, we really want to concentrate on visibility in India and making Ilana a very household name so that people recognize us even more.
What are your favorite organic skincare or makeup brands other than Ilana?
Yeah, I really love RMS Beauty. There's this brand called, I love Mama Earth. I use Mama Earth's hair care range. I think they're doing a great job in terms of sustainability also. Um, I've used a few Ruby's Organics products as well, so
Okay.
I like their lipsticks a lot. Yeah, so these would be.
Okay. How has the past 3 or 4 months been for your company? You're with the pandemic.
Yeah, correct. So, given the situation, I think again we have found it in ourselves to really take it positively and not get deterred by the situation. Of course, it did bother us that the operations were shut, logistics were shut, but our customers, especially, have been really understanding with the delays. We haven't had any cases where things have gone to a level where we weren't able to solve them. Um, Even in the 2 months that we were in a complete lockdown, we had a lot of orders incoming, since it was a digital platform. There was no day when the orders were just ground zero. Like, there were orders coming in considerably, where we could even, which helped us sustain ourselves, sustain our staff in a way, because it was necessary for even us to help them and sustain them along with us. So I think I would really like to thank everybody who supported us in these times. And we started functioning since mid-May. And since
Okay.
then, I guess it's just been really, in fact, it's been better than ever for us right now. Because it's digital e-commerce that we are in. People are spending more time on Instagram, Facebook. The engagement is more.
Yeah.
People are consuming more content on social media and on the internet. So I guess if anything, it's affected us positively right now.
Okay. So what is a typical day like for you right now?
Right now. Yeah. So we're trying to keep the operations restricted to as much as time it takes. So we're not having a full day of work at office. Um, me not being the head for operations, I usually tend to work from home.
Okay.
But the office is functioning with 3 to 4 people every day. Usually we are a team of 10 people, but right now there is just 3 or 4 people. So whoever can work from home is working from home right now, but the operation heads basically are in the office. So Amit basically heads operations, so he tends to be heading the office right now. And there are 2 to 3 more people who are looking at the whole logistics thing, so they're packing orders and dispatching them. And as soon as their work is over, they sort of just shut the office and head home. For now, at least for now, that has been the
Right.
case. For me, it's really about really taking stock of the situation with the people who are working from home right now. And there have been a few people from my creative team who are also working from home currently, since I'm working from home. So we have to do like weekly meetings with them in order to take stock of the situation. But like I said, since the engagement on e-commerce has been more than ever, we are also trying to bring out more and more and more content on our social media and on the website. So my days just looks like that. I mean, just
Okay.
first half goes into managing whatever things are going around, and then the later bit I think goes into a little bit of development, product development, or maybe the whole content bit. And then I also have some of the Nika Inc. work to do if I have to shoot something, if I have to edit something. So yeah, usually that's how it goes.
Okay. Thanks so much, Nikita. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yes, so much.
Hope you enjoyed the show. You can check out Nika Inc. on Instagram at _Nika Inc. and reach me at Maharani Talks. Catch you soon.